Hey, thank y'all for popping in. Hey, God bless you on that consistency hoodie. My autograph don't mean nothing right now, so I'm glad you didn't, do that. But one day, one day, we'll get to meet and I get to sign something for you. But I really appreciate that. Wanting to pop on here tonight. Don't have much time because I have to coach a client at 8:30, so got about 45 minutes. But want to just pop in, not necessarily a Q&A, but kind of want to talk about some things as far as us building. Now, what I did do is I put in the description box, I put a link to Saturday's class with my wife where, I'll be kind of interviewing her on some tips and things, especially from a woman's perspective, because I know it'll be women on the class mostly about the three B's. So we'll talk about that, and then I'll, talk and motivational mid-year checkup. So space is limited. So I don't know how many people have signed up so far, but it's only $25. But sometimes that might not be affordable depending on the bills and things. So it looks like about 100 seats already gone. So grab your seat. It will be recorded. So even if you can't make the live one, you'll be able to catch it. Um, Catch the recording, the audio recording a little later. A little later, I put the link in the description box though. Just heard, and it's on Zoom. So what's the last day to get the tickets? When they sell out, or Friday night. So I'll close it probably Friday end of business so I could send out the information already in there. So it may stay open unless the seats sell out. Got a new member. Now, wanting to pop on here and talk to y'all about this because what we have going on. And if I see questions pop up and I'm not in too deep in the flow, I'll grab it. But what we have going on, and I want you to be mindful of this, is a lot of times we're not really thinking too much about the work of the adversary, and we're not putting a lot of thought into the work of the adversary and the goal of tearing us apart. So when you think about the man and the woman being torn apart, woman is comes from man. It's just two more letters, and we meant to be together. We meant to come together. And when you think about the goal of the adversary tearing us apart, and when you look out online and you start to see this, you got to start to call a spade a spade. You got to start to call the devil out. And so when you pop up online and you looking and you seeing these conversations, and these conversations are causing more dissension than connection, you need to go on, jump in those comments and say, hey, y'all doing the work of the devil, because it's so much unrealistic talk going on right now, and it's so much back and forth between men and women, and it's really unhealthy. A lot of the back and forth is unhealthy because we are not seeking to understand and then be understood. Instead, we are just seeking to be understood, and that's where we're going wrong, because you got to seek to understand first. And what you'll find is that when you seek to understand, you won't feel as much of a need to be understood when you seek to understand. Because when you take and you put somebody else's lenses on and you look at life through their lenses, you see things totally different. If you take and put somebody else's shoes on and you walk a mile in their shoes, you're going to feel things totally different. But what's happening is men and women are diminishing the value of each other. Men and women are putting each other down and disrespecting each other. And men are starting to say that we can do it without women, and women are starting to say they can do it without men. And what we fail to realize is that that is the goal and the plan of the adversary. The adversary wants men and women at odds. So a lot of times the odds will come from focusing on minute things that do not matter in the grand scheme of things. So men may look at a woman's body and put so much emphasis on that. Women may look at a man's money and put so much emphasis on that. And those things trip us up. I was listening to some single guys talk, and it was on a little video, and one of the single guys, he was talking about he was talking about the hardest thing of being single, and then the other guy was like, is it something hard of being single? And then the guy was saying they got into talking about how they gotta get a woman to cook for them, and how hard it is to get the woman to cook for them. And then by the time the woman start cooking, they be tired of the connection, and then they want to go to the next woman and be with her and got to do the same thing all over again. And the guy was talking about, after he with a woman for like 3 days, he want her to go ahead and go home because he want his own time. He want his alone time. He like to be by himself. And I'm going to tell you what that is. That's pornography. Is men today don't want a connection because they want to be able to gallivant. They want to be able to keep masturbating to the women they see online, and the women they see on videos. They want to be able to have multiple women, and got these women on Snapchat and these different things, paying them through Cash App and all of that to send nudes and send videos. And they get so caught up in lust that they don't want to build with one woman. And it was so sad, and it was so sad to hear these black men as relational retards, to be relationally retarded. It was so sad because I have not seen the equivalent conversation amongst white men and Hispanic men and Asian men. But to hear black men openly admit that they don't want to be in a relationship, and they don't appreciate a relationship, and they don't value a relationship, and they don't want to be with a woman for an extended period of time, was so sad to see that grown adult men don't understand the value of a woman and the value of creating a stable household with a woman to raise healthy and stable children, because they are so caught up in the thrill and the chase and a bunch of random women and getting to know people all over again. He talking about the hard part is getting to know people all over again. Then it's like, stop getting to know people all over again and get to know one person and stay with that one person and fall in love with that one person and get to know that one person over and over and over. Like, I've been married 16 years and me and my wife are still working. 15 or 16. I lost count now. I think 15 years and we still working. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 16 years. 16 years I've been married and we still working. We still getting to know each other. We still falling deeper in love. We still learning. We still growing. We still pushing ourselves. Like, we still working through things at 16 years of marriage. So for men to say that they get with a woman and they tired of a woman after a few days, it's like, man, we are doomed. We are doomed. But see, the thing is it comes from a lack of focus. See, if I was focused on other women, if I was into pornography, if I was into masturbation, if I was into pay for play, if I was into those things, I wouldn't be able to be in a relationship. But because I'm not into those things, I'm able to fall in love with my wife. So because my wife is the only woman that I'm focused on, guess what? Her cellulite look good. Her dimples look good. Booty drooping, booty sitting up, booty swinging. Everything look good. When she feeling overweight, look good. If she feeling underweight, look good. When she feeling bloated, look good. Because I've wrapped my mind around this one woman. And yes, I see other women and I see beautiful women, but because I have no connection with them, I can't feel anything. All I can see is that she's a beautiful woman. But because of the connection with my wife and because I'm focused on her, I want to shower her with love. I want to shower her with anything that I can shower her with, and I want to be around her all the time. We done went on a walk consecutively this week, and I plan tomorrow's walk. Hey, she got an appointment in the morning. I say, can you walk after that? She say, yeah, because when you walking, we releasing them endorphins and we building. And then I planned this class. She gave me an idea. I say, hey, will you come on the class with me? So the class is Saturday. The link is in the description box. But the class this Saturday about the 3 B's, the mid-year check-in. And wanting to be around her because I have cut out all other distractions. So there is no other woman that I'm texting on my phone as friends and conversation and just checking in and chatting and talking and all of that. So I have people text me, but it's about business. It's one-offs. It's, hey, this right here, this right here. It's my clients. But I don't have a female friend, and I don't watch pornography, and I don't practice masturbation, and I don't practice building with no other woman. So I am entrenched and immersed and engulfed in my wife, to where everything about her, even her attitude and her bad days, is sexy, is beautiful. When she getting on my nerves, when I'm getting on her nerves, and when I'm driving her crazy, just to win her bike, the winner bike, that right there is my thrill. That's my chase. That's my challenge. But we living today in a society where men so addicted to the computer screen, the phone screen, that men can't build real relationships with a woman. And we are in a relationship epidemic. We're in a relationship epidemic, and especially amongst black men. And it is getting sad. So I'm coming to the point to where I'm rooting and fighting for black men, but I'm about to say, listen, if these black men ain't gonna act right and a white man will, get your white man. What I realized, all 3 of my wife's sisters got a white man. That thing hit me the other day. All 3 of my wife's sisters got a white man. Listen to me. If these here black men ain't gonna act right and the Lord send you a man of another race, stop hollering about you don't like no other race. If that's all coming to you and that's all you meeting and that's who trying to love you, go where you got to be loved at. And then one day I'm praying that black men will wake up from being alone and decide to get over their ego, to get over their addictions, and to start building. Because here's the thing, we getting ready to go into a state to where black women are going to be one of the largest classes of millionaires, because black women are being left alone, being left single. And black women are not praised and coveted by other races. There are exceptions to the rule. There are men of other races who appreciate black women, but that's not the majority yet. So black women being left alone, and when you left alone, you got to occupy your time. And when you occupy your time, you lock in and you focus. And when you lock in and you focus, you're going to build wealth. And black men are getting caught up meat slanging and going from woman to woman. And every woman that you deal with is costing you your wealth. While black women are being overlooked and left alone, they building wealth. I'm talking to black women clients who are sitting on 6 figures in their bank account or on their investment account. I don't think I've ever talked to a black man sitting on 6 figures. And the reason why is because as black men, we squandering ourselves. We spreading ourselves thin. And we going from woman to woman to woman. The one guy say the hardest part about being single is not having a home cooked meal. Not having a home cooked meal every night. And it's like, for one, Playboy, a woman don't cook every night. A robot cook every night. A woman don't cook every night. Your wife gonna have days to where she ain't got time to cook, she ain't got the energy to cook, and she got way more to do than just cook you food. So you looking for your mama cook for you. You looking for a chef. You looking for a maid. You're not looking for a wife. A woman is a wife is a human. A human don't like doing the same thing every single day. Now, some women do it because that's how they train, that's how they raise, that's how they taught. That don't mean she like it. That don't mean she enjoy it. That don't mean she don't want no Carrabba's. That don't mean she don't want no Olive Garden. That don't mean she don't want no Red Lobster. That don't mean she don't want to eat out. So if you a man and you thinking that a woman just finna be cooking and cleaning, you first need to change your mind about marriage. You first need to learn what marriage is and learn that this marriage is about y'all coming together and you building on love. You creating love and you building on love. But the goal and the purpose outside of love is for you to build economic stability and generational wealth and leave a legacy, leave an inheritance to your children so that your lineage is set up in this society, so that your last name can have some respect on it and could have some people that's going to look and respect your last name and what your family lineage represents. Black man, it's not to be out here smoking weed, popping pills, playing video games, gambling, and jerking off, paying scrippers and jump offs to do whatever. That is stupid and it is counterproductive, and you are operating from trauma. You are a slave master's dream. So what we have to recognize and realize is that we have to invert. We got to change the course that we were set on from slavery. And we got to break the chains, and we have to build economic stability. And we do this by finding a wife, marrying that wife, having children or adopting children, and raising those children with morals and values and standards and faith of a religion, and raising them the right way, and then letting our last name build equity in this society. That's what gotta be the focus. Stop jacking off. Stop watching porn. Stop going to the strip clubs. Stop gambling your money away. Stop spending all your money on ignorance and foolishness, and start building a family and building generational wealth. Buy some land, buy some property, create some assets. It could be intellectual property that could be marketed, that could be recreated, that could be sold for ages to come. That's what need to be our focus. If you're going to day trade, if you're going to multi-level market, if you're going to do whatever you're going to do, let it be for your family, to build wealth for your family. And stop looking for a genie in the bottle. Stop looking for this woman who looked like she come out of a magazine. Today, I got a magazine in the mail. And on the cover of that magazine was Tabitha Brown. I don't know how Tabitha Brown looked when she met her husband, but that rich brown skin is being overlooked. That rich brown skin is walking around here in plenty. It is a plethora of it, and it is being overlooked. And today is being overlooked for the wrong reasons. It's being overlooked for the wrong reasons. If you meet somebody organically and they are of another race, that's one thing. But when you intentionally picking someone who is of another race because of self-hate or something else, you doing it the wrong way. You going about it the wrong way. And we are weakening ourselves. And we are not building families. And we're not raising our children for greatness. When you look at what this young man, Ja Morant, is going through, I saw a post talking about the beautiful girlfriends of Ja Morant. They showed 2 women. Then I saw this guy who looked like a Blight Ninja Turtle mixed with a toad, and he had 4 girlfriends, and he looked like somebody chewed him up and spit him out. And I say, what in the world is this man who looked like burnt rubber doing with 4 girlfriends and flaunting it online? And I could look at the women and I could tell that they have been ran through. They have been violated. They have been dogged out. They have had hands put on them. They have been mistreated. And they are operating from their pain, from their trauma. And they want this man because he is a music artist and he has money. This man does not have 4 girlfriends. This man is running a homeless shelter. And his residents happen to be 4 women that he is sleeping with. He is running a homeless shelter and flaunting it as him being a Mac Daddy, a pimp player from the Himalaya with 4 girlfriends. And it is sad and it is disgusting, because if he mess around and have a daughter, if he don't already got one, imagine the image that she being seen. And so right now, as a people, we are being, as black people, and to the white people, y'all could just sit and listen. And to the Hispanic and Asian and everybody else, you can just sit and listen. We as black people is being laughed at right now, because here we is on every level we losing. On every level we losing, because black men care more about buying jewelry than buying property. Care more about buying clothes and shoes than buying property. If you don't have the equivalent in property that you have in jewelry, we living backwards. And I have been guilty of this myself, but I am waking up, and that's why I'm sharing this message. Because remember, as I take a step, I got to share the blueprint that I just got. We being laughed at on every level as black people because black men and women are online on podcasts disrespecting each other, cussing each other out, calling each other names, dogging each other out, disrespecting each other, creating division and dissension and turmoil instead of unity, unison, being on one accord. So here we got a young black man who signed a $230 million contract, and every time he turned on a rap song, he got to grab a gun, and he got to have dummies around him that get on live like they is some doggone strippers and on live, and he got to show a gun every time he on live. When everybody know, if you done ever been in the streets, you done never walked down the street, you done never crossed the street in a black neighborhood, you have always been told don't pull a gun if you ain't finna use it. But he got the short gun, so guess what that's gonna do? It's gonna get you killed. You know why? Because when somebody come to rob you, they know they got to shoot you before they stick you up. When a person don't know you got a gun, they might just pull their gun and say, give me your necklace, give me your watch, give me your shoe. But when they go to rob you and you done show that you keep a gun on you, they finna shoot you first. And this is what we is young and dumb, and here he is, his daddy sitting courtside, will not grab him up. If my son got a $230 million contract and he pull a gun, the next time you see my son, he gonna have a black eye. And the next time he gonna have a tooth missing, because I will let my son know, son, I will put you in your grave before I let you put yourself in your grave. I ain't raised you to be no fool. I will sit my son down, I'll grab him by the collar, and I'm right up on his behind every single day. He ain't going nowhere, he ain't doing nothing. If he want to be a man and he don't want to get the lesson, you got to see me every day. Every day you wake up, every day you step out that house, square up, and we finna throw blows until you get this lesson. You want to be a man, you want to be a thug, I'm finna show you what it feels like to be a man. I'm finna put hands on you, boy. But see, we afraid to raise our children because we want to be our children friend. You got mamas out here dressing their sons like they jump off. Dressing little boys, instead of little boys having on dinosaurs, little boys in $100,000 Cuban necklaces, in all Gucci, all Dior, ain't no children's clothes, and he looked like the man that the mama want to sleep with. Instead of letting a child be a child, we dressing children like they rappers. And then you got the men want to be the son friend, got the little 5-year-old, got his pants sagging, he cussing, he acting a fool. And here you got the white man sitting over there looking at us, and he's starting to feel bad for us because he's like, man, the white man looking at us and like, I let y'all out of slavery, and now y'all enslaving yourself. The white man like, man, let me pass some stimulus checks. I done passed some stimulus checks for you. I done passed some EIDL for you. I done passed some SBA for you. And now instead of y'all starting a business, y'all want to go scam the system. So now you're scamming the system. So now we got to do the audits. Now we coming to catch you. Now it's already 2 million of you sitting in prison. Now we got to put the rest of y'all that's scamming SBA and EIDL and the employee retention refund, all of you scamming that. Now we got to sit y'all in prison on top of the hard criminals of the black race that's already sitting in the prison. And don't nobody want to speak up, and don't nobody want to say nothing. The celebrities is so worried by going to the parties and having cucumber in a booty hole that don't nobody want to say nothing. And so worried about being liked that can't come out and speak out against the other celebrities that's perpetuating the foolishness. And here we now know nothing about marriage. We know nothing about family. We know nothing about building. And all we want to do is tear down and divide. Women critiquing men, putting unrealistic expectations on men, men critiquing women, putting unrealistic expectations on women. And so now we can't come together and we can't build. Because a woman want to tell a man, you got to make $100,000 in order for me to be with you, not realizing that the doggone man is a descendant of slaves. How the world he finna make $100,000 without having a wife, without having somebody to love him and support him and encourage him when he was raised and he's riddled in trauma? How he finna be a six-figure man by himself? And if he become a six-figure man by himself, what make you think he gonna want you? And then we got men telling women, you got to have this kind of body, but then don't want her to go get no surgery. But all we could eat around here is GMO, MGO, steroids. Our chicken got steroid in it. All the food got pesticides. The food killing us. So women putting on weight while they sleep. Every piece of food a woman eat, it's a gift that keep on giving. She working out, she doing everything and can't stop gaining weight because 90% of our food in America is illegal in Europe. But yet the man want the woman to look like a bill of health, want her to look like a kept woman, but don't want to do the keeping. So now, because of these unrealistic expectations that men and women putting on each other, we can't even get together because we can't stand each other. And then because of the voices on the internet, marriage is starting to suffer because the woman is inside the marriage disrespecting the man, telling the man, I don't need you, I can get my own, I got my own, soft life this and soft life that, and this here and this, that, there. And then the man telling the woman, you ain't bringing nothing to the table, you ain't worth nothing, I make all the money, you ain't doing nothing. So now we in marriage and we going to blows, we fighting every day, we on the verge of a divorce every single day because of the stupid idiocracy of the singles with a podcast who ain't got no sense. And the singles and the couples with a podcast who got some sense ain't got no motion. So can't make no noise. So guess what? It's one or two of us out here with some sense that's screaming and crying in the wilderness, and we can't even get people to like a video and share it. Sitting and looking at us like fools, but then when you see something that's ignorant, you send it to every single person in your phone to say SMH, but then when something is some gospel, it don't get sent to nobody. So now here the people who talking sense is drowning, and the people who speaking ignorance is getting shared because of ignorance, because ignorance is praised over and promoted over intellect. When you look at the radio shows, it's all idiots. When you look at the major podcasts, it's all idiots. We could count one or two or maybe three major radio shows, a major podcast that got somebody on there talking some sense. And the reason why they can't really talk sense, because if you talk sense, then they gonna shut you up. And the other thing about it is, they'll give you a podcast for your people. They'll have you interviewing people that's supposed to be inspirational. So you're doing the interviews, but in the middle of the interviews, your only advertisement is alcohol and gambling. And alcohol and gambling is the last thing that ex-slaves need. The last thing we need is another crutch for our trauma. So instead of hiring this, and then they have white production companies. So they bringing in the alcohol and the gambling, and they getting a 6-figure or a 7-figure check, and ain't nobody complaining about it. And instead of saying, hey, go get me a therapy company like BetterHelp, go get me a company that is promoting something that is going to benefit my people, and see if they'll align their brand with us over here and give us these 6 or 7 figures, so we could replace this alcohol advertisement, and we could replace this gambling advertisement with something that's going to be productive for our viewers. Because when you promoting gambling, eventually every viewer finna get on there, and guess what you finna do on the gambling app? You're fixing to go broke. You can't say get the gambling app but gamble responsibly. You ain't got that kind of power. You can't say buy this alcohol but drink responsibly. You ain't got that kind of power. So here we are cutting off our nose to spite our face, and we losing at every single turn. We're losing at every turn, and we can't count on ourselves. And then we operating like degenerates. Over the last 2 years, because of the spiritual warfare that's been on my life trying to carry this torch, I drove my wife crazy. I got on her nerves so many times of just what I'm trying to do and what I'm dealing with. Well, now I got to be so locked in and so focused to be able to do what I got to do to carry this torch, but to make sure that ain't none of this trickling down to my family. But to be out here on the front line as a positive voice that is unwilling to compromise. That TV show y'all see me on MTV, it was 2 scenes that I had to tell them I ain't doing that scene. They only really got me on the hypnotherapy scene because they didn't tell me till I got there. And then when I Googled it and I realized it was nothing spiritual, it was nothing sacrilegious, I did it. And then when I heard the hypnotherapist go through the session, I realized it sounded like life coaching with your eyes closed. So that's why I was okay with that. But it was other stuff that I said, no, I can't do that because that don't align with my beliefs. That don't align with my lifestyle. So here I am as a black man, unwilling to compromise. But guess what? When I start my podcast and it get some listeners, and I get 100,000 listeners, 500,000 listeners, 1 million listeners, guess who coming to me? The alcohol gonna come to me. The sponsor of the podcast. Now they might put their own advertisements on there, but I'm talking about what's coming out my mouth. What I say out my mouth. It ain't gonna be no gambling. It ain't gonna be no alcohol. And I don't care how big the check is. Okay, how big the check is. Now, if it's gonna be some alcohol, it might have to be some wine. But wine don't really promote like that. They don't need to. They like Bentley, Bugatti, and Lamborghini. They ain't got to run commercial. People gonna get them some grape juice for a minute. Listen to me. When you unwilling to compromise, you ain't got no friends. You know why you ain't got no friends in the industry? You know why I ain't got no friends in the industry? Because everybody wanna be booty buddies. And everybody's so worried about being invited to the party that don't nobody want to say nothing that make no sense because they don't want to step on no toes. They don't want to step on no toes. They don't want to offend nobody because they want they invite to the conference. Now, how you finna be a black man in America with 3.5 million followers online and not even get an invite to the Invest Fest in Atlanta? You know why? Because I march to my own beat, and because what I say step on toes. So that's why they don't call me. That's why the Breakfast Club don't call me. That's why the Pivot, the podcast with the 3 athletes, ain't called me. And I done asked them to come on there. That's why they ain't called me. Because when you march to your own beat, and when you speak in truth, and you elevate, people think you too good. No. It ain't that I think I'm too good. It's that I am unwilling to live a mediocre existence. I'm unwilling to live a mediocre existence. And they will take and they'll hear one rumor, one gossip about me, and they'll say, no, we ain't gonna bring them on because such said this right here. But they will bring on the most disgusting, the most vile people with domestic violence charges, people with drug charges, ex-cons, bring on everybody, but won't bring on those of us who is talking sense. And then when you talking sense, they'll take and bring on everybody else. It's a show on Instagram called Impact Theory. I reached out to the man. I say, you doing these things? You ain't interviewing no black people. After I said that right there, he went and brought on every black man but me, because I called him out on it. And they will take, and these shows will take and bring on a single black man to discuss relationships and skip over the married black men because they don't want to hear a message of unity and monogamy with one woman. And then I seen a show where they got a man, a comedian who always talking about Jesus, but is not married and is living in fornication. So that is a direct slap in the face of Jesus Christ. And then here we will promote the blasphemy and the contradicting messages, the hypocrisy. We will sit and promote it like it's gospel. And then we will put words in the mouth of Jesus. We will put words in the mouth of God. We will write scripture for the Bible that is not in the Bible. And we will try to say who God is and what God wants, and ain't none of it biblical. But we trying to put God in a box so that he fit our mediocrity, so that he fit our sin, so that we are comfortable in our sin, so that we comfortable in fornication, in pornography, in masturbation. And because the Bible don't spell it out expressly, we try to say, oh, I could do this here because the Bible ain't spell it out. And then when somebody come and step on our toes, we don't want to have nothing to do with them, because when they step on our toes, that thing hurt. And that's because we want to be average. We want to be mediocre. But listen here, right now I'm shifting in my life. And listen, I have vowed in my heart that I'm finna love my wife. 16 years in the marriage, I'm finna go to another level, and I'm finna love her like Christ loved the church, finna love her like no man has ever loved a woman in the history of mankind. And that's finna be my goal. Because do you know, I could get away with being average. I could get away with being a mediocre husband because of the state of men is so terrible that I could be mediocre and still be a blessing. But I'm finna be amazing. Do you hear me? Because I want the next level, so that when I meet God, he can say, well done, my good and faithful servant. But here we sitting here and we are scared to be amazing. We scared to live a righteous lifestyle. We scared to be alienated, isolated, separated. But God is coming to tell you that you are separated so you could be elevated, that you are called from out among them. But see, here's the thing. When you sound like you know too much, when you sound like you're going to live a righteous lifestyle, people that is comfortable in their sin don't want to talk to you. They don't want to hear nothing from you. They don't want to give you no platform, because they know that the light is going to shine in the darkness, and that they woman that they got in the dark, when they exposed to you and they stamp by them, that they woman then says, oh, if you brought him on your podcast, that must mean I could follow him. And then when they follow me, the man know that if he ain't living right and he ain't doing right, this message is finna set his captive free. So that's why they stay from around me. because I want excellence. When you look at my message uppercut me. My message hit me with a left, with a right, with an uppercut, with a straight cross. My message DDT me, Stone Cold Steve Austin me. My message beat me to the ground. But I don't change it because I have to change me instead of trying to change the message. And that's where we have to go to as black men, as black people. We got to get out of the ignorance, because the devil is a lie and God is the truth. And if you are comfortable, then you living in sin. If you are comfortable, you living in sin. If it don't hurt you, the sacrifice, if the sacrifice don't hurt you, if the discipline don't hurt you, if the consistency don't hurt you, you are living in sin. You're living a complacent lifestyle, and you're going to lose every day of your life. You're going to lose over and over again. Listen to what I'm telling you. Michelle, God bless you. We have to go to the next level. We got to do better. Listen, I got to be on this call in 1 minute. I got to coach a client. I done about wore my voice side. Now I'm finna open me an office in Tampa, Florida. I'm gonna start having Bible studies. And I'm gonna have armed security in there now. I'm gonna have armed security in there, because when I'm carrying this here message, it's gonna be people that I speak on that they gonna want to shut me up. I'm gonna have armed security, and they're gonna be sitting right there in the front, and we have their hand right on that there. Right on that there. What they did to MLK, what they did to Malcolm X, I'm going to do everything in my power so that they don't do it to me. But listen to me, it's about to get real. So anybody know me in person, don't worry about me. Don't worry about what I'm doing. The shackles about to come off. The captive's about to be set free. I'm about to put my foot on the devil's neck, and I ain't finna let up. Names finna start getting called. Examples finna start getting made, because if your example is detrimental to the growth of the people, I'm finna be at your neck. So you better get right, or I'm coming for you. And I ain't worried about no show, having no show. I ain't worried about having no radio show. All I'm worried about is being pleasing unto God. Listen to me. God bless y'all. I got to go. We having the mid-year checkup. Got the mid-year checkup. God bless you, Dad. The Demolisher. Y'all subscribe to her channel. She one of my loyal supporters. Got the mid-year checkup Saturday with my wife. So y'all make sure get your tickets. Hey, God bless you for those that sent me a cash app. I see a few of y'all sent me a cash app. God bless you. God bless y'all, and we gonna talk soon. I got to go on and make this call before it strike 8:31. Gonna call this here number. Hey, God bless y'all, and we are going to talk soon. Make sure you click the link in the description, because I told my wife she coming on there Saturday, and I'm gonna be interviewing her. I'm not gonna let y'all question her yet because she new to this. I got my client on the phone right now. Give me 1 second, sister. I'm finishing up this live. Give me 1 second. We ain't gonna start the clock till I get off this here live. Listen, I told her, hey, I'm gonna bring you on here, baby. I'm gonna ask you some questions. We're gonna talk about these 3 B's. I say, you want them to ask questions? She said, no, not yet. Let me warm up to it. She say, because for one, I can't be on there forever because the boys got soccer. So we're gonna do a separate $25 class where it'll just be probably just y'all and her, for questions about, whatever is marriage, woman's influence, fashion, what have you. But join this one here Saturday, because I told her I'm gonna bless her out of the signups because she the featured speaker. So I told her I'm gonna bless her, and so I want to be able to keep my word. But God bless y'all. We'll talk soon. Link in the description. Y'all take care.